Hi, I'm Tim Bradner. Welcome to Capitol Views, and welcome today to Nils Andreassen, the Executive Director of the Alaska Municipal League. Welcome, Nils.
Thank you, Tim. Glad to be here.
Nils, AML is one of the state's legacy associations, in this case of local governments, municipalities, boroughs, and cities. Maybe you could just kind of walk us through what it is that AML is and what it does, and some of the programs that are underway right now.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's important to know that, AML predates statehood. We're unique in the nation as an association to include both cities and boroughs. And our mission is to strengthen all 165 Alaska local governments. Those are members of AML, and we provide a variety of services in their interests. We have a board of directors who provides governing functions and a variety of services that tries to meet the needs of our members. Traditionally, that has been, conferences and sharing best practices and sharing information. That's included outreach and information sharing with the legislature and state agencies, advocating for the interests of local governments and making sure that they have a seat at the table and decisions that impact their cities and boroughs. And more recently, it's been providing services. So it's sales tax collection and offering health insurance and a deferred compensation plan for retirement, and a number of other opportunities to really make sure that local governments have the capacity to do the good work they're doing on behalf of residents.
Nils, let's just talk for a minute about the sales tax collection. That's a new service, developing a mechanism and administrating a mechanism to collect sales tax on online purchases. Maybe describe quickly how it works and how it's going. How much money are you bringing in?
Yeah, I think the important thing to know is that, the interests of local governments have been to level the playing field for local businesses. There are 45 cities and boroughs who are participating in the program that offers a single level statewide streamlined approach to remote sales tax collection. And there's a platform where thousands of sellers can register and remit those sales taxes to local governments, and AML administers that and sends out the revenue to our members. It's been incredibly successful, I think, and especially during these last couple of years of challenge has really meant a world of difference for local governments. And this last year, almost $20 million collected. And I think, again, coming back to that's money that would have left and stayed outside of the economy and been competitive with our Main Street businesses.
And in this case, these are online purchases with Amazon and companies like that prior would no sales taxes be paid. So they really are at a competitive disadvantage with brick and mortar local retail.
Yeah, yep, that's right. And I think it's emblematic of the work that we're trying to do. We want to make sure that local governments have stability and capacity. And that links back to some of our priority initiatives too, and thinking about the legislature and state budget. We're excited about a conversation about education and want to bring into that things like school construction and major maintenance, which is a heavy lift for a lot of districts and municipal school districts. So we want to make sure that there's funding in place to address deferred maintenance and new construction needs. It's interesting to hear conversations about retirement, and it's important to AML that we have all the tools at our disposal to ensure effective recruitment and retention of not just teachers and not just our public safety professionals, but all the employees who are working for municipal government. And finally, I'll just mention a lot of our work over this last year has been focused on infrastructure and making the most and maximizing the benefit to Alaska from federal infrastructure investment. And AML has stood up a team who's really focused on supporting the state and local governments and developed partnerships to ensure that happens. And I'm glad to see reports that nearly $3 billion came into the state last year And I've seen billions of dollars more in need for these coming years. So we know that this infrastructure investment is necessary. It's not going away, and it's something that we'll all have to be paying attention to in the months to come.
And Nils, in this case, AML assists municipalities in making applications to the federal agencies for infrastructure grants.
Yeah, to the extent that we're able to, we hold a weekly office hours with members. They can call in and ask about grant opportunities. We're regularly sharing new grants and grant resources with all local governments and tribal governments and others, thousands of Alaska stakeholders every week that we're reaching out to. We do regional planning and a coordinated approach with the state and other partners. And then we've got a good working relationship with DOT and other state agencies to make sure that the state's not missing any opportunities and making sure they have the capacity to respond as well.
Nils, when a municipality applies for a federal grant, is AML able to track the progress of that grant and just report on the success of it or lack of success of it?
I wish we had better ability to do that. It's something of a holy grail at this point, is trying to track the ins and outs, who's applying and who's being awarded. It's nice to see, I think, at this point that when grant announcements are coming out, Alaska's on the list almost always. So we've got pretty good success rate as a state relative to even just the rest of the nation. So we're excited about that. I think we want to do more of that tracking in the year to come and make sure that project award meets need in communities.
Senator Murkowski's office seems to do a pretty good job of tracking these federal grants. I see a lot of announcements and press up. Are these is that a good way to track the progress of some of the applications?
It does often end up being one of the easiest ways, is to see from the congressional delegation what those awards look like.
Okay, well, Nils, thanks for joining us. I know AML does a lot of things, a lot of important work for the for its members, and I hope we can revisit some of these topics. There's a lot of things to talk about in the coming weeks. So thank you, Nils, for joining us on Capitol Views.
Thank you.